einer Zuschauerkulisse von weit mehr als 7.000 Fans und das an einem Freitag, wo wir mal ein herzliches Dankeschön ausrichten. So, thanks to all of you guys, we have more than 11,000 and I think I got the number 7,550 people watching this first competition with the debut here. Ellard hat ja hier auch sportliche Hochfilzen juckt's die heute bei dem Wetter, Julie?
Wir haben gerade die Bilder gesehen. Also es ist auch einmalig, da heute laufen zu dürfen. Ist unbezahlbar und ich hoffe, dass jeder genießt. Ich habe meine Zeit gehabt, ich habe immer genossen, noch Filzen ist immer erreicht.
Thanks to Selina and thanks to Justina. Maybe a few words from the top three. Danke, all the best for tomorrow's pursuit.
7-4-1.
Beginnen wir in dem Fall mit der Dame ganz oben.
7-8-6. Danke. Hey. 1-4-8. Ringen. Ja, Slowenien. Hey. 54 bei der Rifle. Hey. Hey. 3-2-4. Now blood by the Rifle. 3-1-2.
Karim Benzema.
Voilà.
Welcome back to Hochfilzen as Austria hosts the second stop on the BMW IBU World Cup. We have a glorious day here, perfect conditions, snow, sun, and 3 days packed full of action to come. We had the women's sprint this morning. Now it's the turn of the men. Eric Perrault leading the total score by just 1 point over Sturla Holmla Glide. All to play for today, of course, as well, with repercussions for tomorrow's pursuit as well. Alongside myself, Ellard, is former Team USA biathlete Chad Salmela. Chad, another look at this gorgeous venue.
Yeah, it's an iconic Central European alpine biathlon course that has been part of the repertoire in international biathlon for about 30 years. See, the air temperature just about couldn't be better. It's a degree below freezing, nice humid day, but not too humid. And the sun's shining. It's an absolute change from the dark night racing in Kontiolahti that we spent 10 days last week enjoying, but definitely a biathlon of a different sort with this weather.
Yep, and just look at the crowds already enjoying themselves. We had a thriller of a women's sprint this morning. Here's a look at the start list and the proceedings for this afternoon. 112 athletes in the lineup for this men's sprint. There's a couple of DNSs in there, but it is a really packed roster today, Chad.
Yeah, it's getting massive again. So many nations involved in biathlon and athletes qualifying from the IBU Cup up to this level. So we're up to 112 today. I remember back in the 90s, and it got up to about 125 to 130, and they started making the start order stricter. But it's a swelling in size, and you expect that early in the season. Athletes trying to make their teams, get a chance to make the World Cup. So the start orders swell a little bit. We'll see them drop under 100 again a little later in the year.
We have had 2 races on the IBU Cup already, and as Chad mentioned, there are plenty, particularly young athletes, who will be keeping eyes on, who have made the step up for this race. There's someone else, or 2 athletes we'll be keeping an eye on. Eric Perot, the yellow bib holder, but only by 1 point. Vitaly Madsen has clung on to the blue bib after some excellent performances in Kontiolahti. And Chad, who else are you looking out for today?
Well, obviously Johannes Tingesbø. He's got 37 career sprint wins. He's got 8 wins at this venue, 4 of them sprint competitions, and he's off to not an amazing start in this season. He has not won a race yet, but still sitting in 3rd in the overall standings. Has a podium in the opening short individual, and then 2 top 10s to follow. But I think that his ski speed, though it's not as dominant as we've seen, still at the very top of the order. And I think Sebastian Samuelsson is due with the ski performance we saw last week in Kontiolahti. He needs to just clean up his shooting just a tad, and Sebastian Samuelsson will be an absolute threat for the top of the podium.
Plenty of French flags as well, and some brilliant outfits amongst those in the crowd. Of course, such a busy week, a bumper programme in Kontiolahti, the biggest they've ever hosted as a World Cup, and this time round it's slightly more condensed here in Austria. 3 days, packed full of action, 2 races a day. Of course, 1 for each of the men and women. It's our final race of the day after the women's sprint this morning, and we will be back with the pursuits tomorrow. And of course, Chad, this race has a big swing in who we'll see in the pursuit tomorrow.
It absolutely does. So even if you miss a shot or 2, you're still fighting for that top 60 spot to get the start tomorrow. Usually start for the men between 3 to 3.5 minutes from 60th to 1st. So you're putting 60 people in those 3 minutes, 3 to 3.5 minutes. And you look at somebody like Emilien Jacquelin, who has 1 sprint victory to his career, but he is a master at the pursuit. He always strikes close in the sprint, doesn't ever quite win. He won last week when there wasn't a pursuit, almost custom made for him to win his first sprint when there's no pursuit to follow, because he is a pursuer, very good at this competition. So a guy like Jacquelin, who won his first sprint last weekend, can win today or just keep it close, and he's very good in the second half of the sprint pursuit double.
He gave a brilliant interview after that sprint victory, saying he wanted to silence his critics, and well, that was some way to do it. Very successful here in Hochfilzen as well, 6 podiums. As we see our first athletes emerge up to the start gate. Sondre Slettermark, wearing the colours of Greenland. And he will be getting us underway in this men's sprint.
Speaks Norwegian, Danish, and English. Greenland, of course, very connected with Norway.
And he is the first out onto the snow, just his 5th World Cup start, still only 20 years old. And for at least the first couple of times round, it will be quite the lonely journey for the young man. Strolio of Lithuania next to join him out on the tracks. And Chad, we obviously got a very good glimpse of the course today for the women's sprint, but your thoughts on this course and the nuances that it brings?
It's really a glider's course. You basically go gradually downhill for the first 800 meters or so, then turn up the valley, come to that first time check that you see right on the left of your screen with that orange pillar, and then you start climbing for real. You climb the high point of the course before heading downhill very quickly into the shooting range. It's not a terribly tough approach to the shooting range, but we saw the women were really really struggling from the prone today, and the wind wasn't really that bad. I think a lot of it is just when you're used to Kontiolahti, you're used to that approach to the range. You maybe don't get your effort quite right into the range at this on day one of this change venue. So, but a beautiful course, as you can see from the pictures.
Jan of China, following Nicholas Hartweg out. 2 misses in the sprint in Kontiolahti, but quite have the ski speed to be able to make up for those 2 errors. Emilien Claude. And just in front of him is brother Florent. Hofer of Italy. Only once in the top 20. Just made the top half of the results in the sprint in Kontiolahti. Only missing once.
Getting a glimpse of Martin Uldal getting the call up from the Norwegian team from the IBU Cup to the World Cup. Uldal will start his 3rd World Cup today, just 23 years of age. He's one of the people that are looking to step up into the shoes of the first skier goes down, and there we talked about the women's competition, how this corner can be very quick and very slick, and Slettemark having a little bit of trouble there in the first kilometer of the race.
Yeah, we as you said, we spoke about it earlier. It is, as you can see, as he tries to grab a spare pole, just how treacherous it is on that bend, and they come in such speed, and he was just didn't take it on the right angle and left far too much heading towards that side.
Yeah, in that situation you want to put your weight on the downhill ski. In this case, his left ski. He got onto his right foot, you can see on that second step, and that threw his weight off, and you can't control your turn from the inside foot. So that's really that's a classic Alpine lesson there, a lesson in Alpine skiing.
Yeah, and thankfully one of the Swedish team there to lend a spare pole. Emilien Claude starting the season on the IBU Cup before joining up with the French team in Kontiolahti for the individual races.
It was nice to see the Swedish team step up and give him a pole. That just shows you kind of how the community works.
Martin Uldal. Brilliant performances on the IBU Cup to start the season. Particularly impressive, his shooting. What can he do with his call up to the World Cup?
He won the sprint pursuit double at the IBU Cup last week in Yalo in Norway, so that probably
Jakob Borgula of Slovakia. Again, another, I think, just 20 years old. His 5th World Cup start. David Kormats. And a roar from the home crowd. Made it top 10 at the World Cup. Medals in the single mixed and mixed relay at the World Championships. Timofey Lapshin.
Lapshin
last season.
Yeah, his best finish ever. He's come way back over 12 years ago. 11-12 season in Kontiolahti. All of his top 4 finishes in his career are all in sprints, and the most recent one was in the 23 season in NC.
So watching Emilien Claude. After the first 8 athletes through the 1.2 kilometre mark. It is Niklas Hartweg leading the way.
And not a real elegant way to get around that corner. You always have to take those baby steps or slide, which you never want to slide because it slows you down. So you end up looking a little bit frantic on this turn, no matter what, because we see Uldal engage it now. See those little baby steps, and you know, it looks kind of slightly out of control, but it's probably the best and fastest way to get around that fast corner.
Yeah, he's carried a lot of speed around that corner, and you can see as he goes through the checkpoints, 2 seconds quicker than Niklas Hartweg did.
There's Hartweg now at the next time check, 1.9 kilometers. Gonna challenge the time of Strolia. Looking very in control, doesn't look frantic at all. Kind of, you want to be fast, but not frantic. Early in the first ski round.
Just a Strelo now, who performed so well as the best shooter last season. Poor shooting, particularly in the short individual in Kontiolahti. Incredibly uncharacteristic.
Hails from Erfurt, which is not a big biathlon center. It's kind of interesting that he's not from one of the big meccas like Oberhof or Berufshofen.
Jesper Nalen, 2 relay podiums last week. 3rd in the mixed relay and the relay.
One podium in his career. Would love to get some individual success, but he does have an Olympic gold medal in the relay from 2018. It was part of that surprise win when Sebastian Samuelsson was just coming of age.
Giacomel of Italy now, with number 18 today. No individual wins, but 2 sprint podiums. This by far his best event.
The win is coming, though. It's coming. You can feel it brewing in the young 24-year-old's career. Perhaps it's today will get his first win.
Yeah, starting still relatively early in the order, within the top 20. And just look how still it is there, Chad.
I was going to say, you almost can't get better shooting conditions. Light is good. It's stable light. The eyeball has to work a little bit harder with the sunlight than it did in Kontiolahti when it was dark. The eye is pretty calm in dark light, but you know, the sun is behind the hills now. It should be good shooting for Hartweg. Shooting very quickly.
Quick but clean, Niklas Hartweg.
That's how it's done.
Yep, a perfect start to his race, wearing bib number 3. And setting the pace. Already ahead of the 2 athletes who started ahead of him, but further back along the course. Martin Uldal. 13.3 seconds up already, Chad.
You watch a lot of skiing and a lot of biathlon, and you can see a Norwegian because the technique is so well ingrained all the way down their development pipeline. Uldal skiing, absolutely world-class technique. High hips, very relaxed. Clearly from Norway.
22-year-old Jan Gunke of Poland. Next out onto the course. An equal best finish in the short individual in Kontiolahti. That was 37th place. Here's Martin Ponsiloma. He didn't have the same success in the short individual. 71st, missing 7. Recovered in the sprint slightly, but only 65% prone through the first races of the season. He will really need to perform better in the range and pick up that accuracy today.
Yeah, Ponsiloma was 5th in the overall standings 2 years ago, 10th last year, and now in 28th place. He's got to somehow start breathing some life into his season.
Could this be the day that he does it? It's something you want to do early in the season. Don't want that looming over your head as further on into this World Cup season. Amelia and Claude.
Chasing the time of Nicholas Hartweg. He's 0.6 of a second back of Hartweg coming in. Hartweg is clean in the leader after the first shooting, just 5 skiers through the first shooting stage. Here's Claude.
Not far off the pace at all here. Coming in just behind them is Martin Oldal.
Holds best in 10th place finish last season in Östersund, but he's got a miss now. Oldal leads coming in by 13 seconds.
So once,
16 seconds.
Once round the penalty loop for Claude. Good start from Oldal. Big time advantage here as well. 4 for 4. And the young Norwegian goes clean.
We see what the best of the IBU Cup has against the World Cup field. Early going, Oldal with a commanding lead from bid number 9 over Nicholas Hartweg. He's going to lead by 9.4 seconds.
And from one end of the spectrum to the other, Simon Eder, so experienced, the 41-year-old, and of course so loved here in Hochfilzen.
41 years of age in his 509th World Cup start.
Made his debut in 2003. It's quite spectacular. Like Martin Ponsaloma, though, he'll have his sights on improving on those individual performances. In Kontiolahti, he was 90th in the sprint, missing 4. It wasn't his day by any means.
Tomas Giacomello, we have to watch for him approaching the shooting range. He's flying. He's got up on Oldal and Ponsaloma.
Here's David Kormats. Roared on by the home crowd, and they love what they see. He's clean.
He's not showing, you look at his time into the range, though, 25.9 seconds. He's going to take up some of that time on the shooting range, take 5 seconds of that back, but he absolutely has to be clean in a race like this to have even a chance at the top 20.
And here is Giacomel, approaching 2.4 kilometers. And he's up by 0.2 of a second. There's not much in it at all.
So Oldal picking it up a little bit from the last time check, and Giacomel maybe mellowing it out just a touch, knowing that he's at the front of the start order right now. And he knows Oldal is fast, even though he's not rarely on the World Cup.
Anton Duchenko of Ukraine. Deep in the sprint in Kontiolahti. Did shoot clean though.
Yeah, good start to the season for Duchenko. 2 of his best finishes from Kontiolahti last week. Actually 3 of his best 6 finishes. He knows Oldal after prone. Second lap for him, heading towards the standing chute early in the order, setting a fast time. Now putting time on Hartweg from the last time check. Getting 3 seconds on Hartweg from Switzerland.
As we're back to the range. Just a Strelo. For his first shoot. Just 2 shooting stages. One prone, one standing in this sprint competition. 10 kilometers for the men. And a good start for Justus Strelo.
Dead center.
Center
low. Center left. Center right.
And that is what we've come to expect from Justus Strelo. Third, 10.4 seconds down.
Made back 4 seconds on Uldal on the shooting range, so critical to shoot clean and fast for Strelo. But still trailing coming in by over half a penalty loop, so he's got to stay clean compared to Uldal. Here is Giacomello now.
And a first miss for the Italian. And that's two.
Yeah, it just doesn't look settled. He's a little tight in the shoulders and just not relaxed and fluid on his trigger squeeze. You can see him kind of tense.
So all the good work that he put down on that first lap coming undone. It'll be twice around the penalty loop. George Coltea of Romania.
25 seconds back on the loops. He's a penalty loop down. Meanwhile, on the lap 2, Uldal continues to pull time out of Hartweg. He's 12.2 seconds up at 4.5K. At 5.2, he's up to 21 seconds now. So Uldal sort of pulling out all the stops on the skis as Coltea leaves the range.
And here is Nicholas Hartweg.
Got a big lead at bib number 3, but he is being threatened by Uldal behind him in bib 9, further back on the second lap. Good speed though.
So quick. 4 for 4. Speed and accuracy, he's got it nailed. Nicholas Hartweg, clean, 10 out of 10, and with such pace as well.
Yeah, it makes it look like what's so hard about this sport.
He does make it look so easy, and he's setting the early pace, bib number 3, and the first out of shooting 2.
Uldal still leading at shooting 1 as Ponsaloma, bib 22, comes in. He's 3.3 seconds back of the Norwegian. So clearly not in the massive fast fitness, and he starts with a miss. Ponsaloma can't seem to get anything flowing this season. Skiing's a little off, shooting definitely off. There's 2 misses, and we will not see Martin Ponsaloma anywhere near the leaders again today.
No, he's ruled himself out so early on. Leading the way through the first split as well at 1.2 kilometers, and then after that is all unraveled for the Swede.
Pero Salmela now at the first shooting or first ski lap, sitting in 16th spot.
Philip Horn now.
Doing better. He's in 6th.
In 6th, 6.1 seconds down on Tommaso Giacomello. Simon Kaiser, 29.
This is a relatively new, fresh face, exactly as your point. We haven't called his number much. He's skiing well at the 1.9 kilometers. He's in 7th place, so good start for the German.
Yeah, his first individual World Cup start. 25 years old, but still look at this as a fledgling part of his career. And what a time it is for Germans starting out on what we hope will be a long and exciting World Cup careers. Martin Uldal now into his second shoot, the standing position, and it's a miss on the first. And the second finally gets to hit on 3 and 4. And they're on 5, but 2 misses. And you can see just how quickly he tries to get away from the mat as Simon Eder clean on his first visit to the range, as Uldal will have to go around the penalty loop twice.
Look at this. New best time. Simon Eder leading Uldal out of the prone.
Unbelievable from Simon Eder. And they absolutely love that. Well, I think you'd struggle to pick a more popular leader to this pack. Emilien Claude, now 2 misses to his name on the day.
Yeah, just not enough ski speed to sustain 2 misses, but that's amazing. Ellard finding that kind of speed.
Biomaye did 44 today. Second in the mass start in Kontiolahti. As we go back to the range as he gets his race underway. Philip Horn now down by 1.5 seconds coming into the range.
Challenging legitimately the time of Ellard.
But
there's a miss.
Yeah, starting with a miss. Recovering well.
Gotta grab that shooting time of Ellard. See what he's.
Now the Kormats coming into shooting 2. 37.9 seconds. He trails Nicholas Hartvig. And you can see Uldal 12.2 seconds down on Hartvig. And those 2 misses. And it's quick shooting from the Austrian, but 2 misses now. And well wide. A shake of the head. Twice around the penalty loop he goes.
Oh, when you're shooting that quickly, you're almost just trying to get the sight picture onto the target as you're pulling the trigger. You're not really pointing and shooting. You're actually just taking the trigger and trying to get it on there. So if you don't get the hold right, that's what happens with Kormats. He missed that one. The first one was very close. It was good trigger squeeze, but he wasn't on the target. And then he thought about the second one, and that was a big miss.
Kuriev of Kazakhstan, 20 finishes outside of the relays. And here is Johannes Tingersbo. We are still waiting for the Norwegian to truly arrive here at the IBU World Cup this season. 1 podium in Kontiolahti.
3 individual starts trying to take down the mark of 95 career wins of Oleander Bjørndalen. He's got 85. He has yet to win one this season and knocked that down to 9.
Back with Martin Uldal, his final lap.
I was just thinking as Uldal was shooting, it would have been a great story to come from a double win at the IBU Cup to come and win your next race at the World Cup, but the 2 misses for Uldal. Now he's left trying to ski off those penalties and not likely to take a podium spot.
He's more than half the deficit as we're back with just a Strelo. 3 for 3. This is nice from the German. And 1 miss just at the end. The groans from the crowd. 9 out of 10 for just a Strelo.
Strelo just doesn't have the speed to do anything but shoot clean in a sprint and then hope for the best. And that miss just is going to drop him down the standings. He just doesn't have the power. Has never exhibited the speed to ski off a penalty loop like that.
Emilien Jacquelin in the red bib as the event leader after that first win in Kontiolahti. Just been nailing with 1 miss on his first visit to the range.
Still only Hartvig clean from the second shooting stage. Nothing's going to fall outside the time of Hartvig even before the miss. Now he's added another 22 seconds to that deficit roughly.
Here is Niklas Hartvig.
He's the only one so far who
only clean shooter so far through shooting 2 with 15 athletes through. So Hartvig, again, racing the athletes behind him.
And he just needs to keep that focus forward as he comes towards the line. Less than 50 meters to go for Niklas Hartvig, who will be The first athletes over the line, and the mark to beat, 24:55.8. The Swiss athlete shooting clean. Here's Johannes Tingersbo. 0.4 of a second faster than Jacomel through the early stages of his competition.
It's fast, but it's not a lot faster. He doesn't have the advantage he used to. And the question I have is he trying to do that and sandbag and keep his fitness, keep his stress load high for the World Championships later? Not sure. Sure, we'll see.
Well, it would be telling how this man comes through the same checkpoints that we've just seen Johannes Tingersbo go through, because he is incredibly quick, and you can see that just from his start. Sebastian Samuelsson flying out the blocks there.
Hartwig's time last year would have gotten him fourth place, almost exactly the same time as 1/10 of a second faster than Martin Ponsaloma at the end of last year's sprint here in Hochfilzen. But we don't know the conditions, if they're accurately even. Here is Jan Gunke now. Be a huge finish for him to go clean.
Starts with a miss though. Nine out of 10.
His best ever is 37th place, which is, this could be pretty close to that, even with that penalty. He's having a good day for himself.
Martin Ponsaloma, 2 misses in the prone position.
26 seconds back, despite 2 misses. Remember, each penalty loop is about 22 seconds. So he's skiing well. Getting it back into gear here. Nothing to lose.
Well, he needed to go clean, and he did. Martin Ponsaloma back on track.
And that might be what he needed, just to kind of kick his mental game into the season. Now he's skiing himself back into the top 5.
Yeah, it won't be a podium finish today. Got a good recovery. Emilien Jacquelin introduced to the crowd there, and a smile on his face as he hears his name read.
He's got the red bib as the sprint leader. He won the sprint convincingly.
And here comes Martin Uldal, rounding the corner. The young Norwegian, bib number 9, across the line, 11 seconds ahead of Nicholas Hartwig, after starting his season spectacularly on the IBU Cup, stepping up, and well, that's not a bad way at all to mark your arrival.
Uldal flips a 12-second deficit to an 11-second gap by the finish over Hartwig. Huge final lap of skiing by Uldal.
Yep, incredibly impressive. Here's Fionn Maillet. 7.6 seconds his advantage coming into the range. So that's Simon Eder, who was clean in the prone. And for his standing shoot, a miss from Fionn Maillet. 2 misses from Fionn Maillet, a miss from Eder.
Fionn Maillet just struggling, much like Martin Ponsaloma has. Simon Eder goes 9 for 10.
Well, when you compare, when you compare the performance of Simon Eder in the sprint in Conti-Ellard to what he's doing now, as Emilien Claude over the line.
Yeah, you're right. It's a big contrast, and that's a sign that Eder is kind of just having a good day. Things kind of coming together here in his home venue.
Two misses for Salmela, 3 now.
Salmela is having huge shooting problems from the standing position. A lot of that is just psychological. You don't have the confidence to hold the rifle steady. He had 4 misses in Conti-Ellard last week, and it didn't get much better here. He hits 2 today, 1 shot better. But let's look at Eder's second shooting. How quick it was. There's the miss. Prone hit there. Two prone hits to finish it off. So Ellard leaves standing in 7th, 41 seconds back. But here now is the man everybody's watching.
Yep, here is Johannes Tingersbø dropping down to the prone position. 13.3 seconds he leads coming into shooting 1. He's up to the pace over the last 2 kilometers.
Those are the gaps we're used to seeing with Johannes Tingersbø on the skis. A little bit of a glitch with the bolting action on that 3rd shot. Barely inside at 11 o'clock. Gets away with one on the 4th shot, but it goes down.
And Johannes Tingersbø is clean. And 5.7 seconds in the lead. Simon Ellard was leading at this point. It's Johannes Tingersbø potentially on the way to his first win of the season. With Marcel Jacquemel.
2 penalties on the day for Jacquemel. And trailing by just 20 seconds there.
Sterling Holmler glide. He trails Eric Perrault in the total point score by just 1 point. Second deficit though coming into the range. He's 3 for 3, going well in this first shoot, and that's good. He's clean.
You know, Ellen, the thing that I'm finding interesting is so far the last 2, both the first in Kontiolahti and this week in Hochfilzen, is that the Norwegian ski parity is they don't have as big of an advantage as we've seen in the past. The other athletes are challenging them on the skis.
Just Estrello over the line in 3rd for now, 1 miss. 37.9 seconds down on Uldal. And here's Eric Perrault leading the total score by just 1 point. And he will need a big performance today. He's to hold on to the bib going into the pursuit tomorrow. Legovic.
Good performance for the Croatian though. Skiing very well.
Blue glasses to match the blue bib. Vitali Manzin, the under-23 leader. Really impressing last week. Here's the man who won the under-25 last season in the blue bib before it changed, Jacquemel. Over the line in 3rd, 21.4 seconds down. Bionats, his compatriot. 8.3 seconds up coming into shooting, and he's 3 for 3. There's a miss though.
You have to face it several times in your career before you actually make it happen. And he gets the 10th shot, but just too much thinking going on there. And that's the difference between the mechanical nature of a guy like Johannes Tingersbø and somebody who's still trying to emerge like Didier Bionats.
Well, we've just seen Sebastian Samuelsson absolutely fly through the shot. He's gone clean on his prone shoot.
Just 1 second ahead of Johannes Tingersbø. As I said, you got Simon Ellard 6.7 seconds out of the lead after shooting 1 is an incredible performance by the Austrian. Campbell Wright sitting 7th for the United States, 19.6 seconds back.
Well, we saw last week just how much the advantage that home snow gave to the athletes and the home support. Gig on up. He's clean through prone and he's quick. And 1 miss there right at the end.
Oh,
Christensen with 3 misses.
Such inconsistent shooting among some of the best athletes in the world. Here's Jacques now. What can he pull together? Comes in leading. Fastest ski time by 1.7 seconds. Over flying Sebastian Samuelson. This is that parity I'm talking about. The fact that Jacques and Samuelson are coming into prone 1, even or ahead of Johannes Tinges Bø. It's kind of new territory as of recent memory. 15 seconds for first shot, that's pretty quick. Taking his time though, and he misses.
There's the miss. So once around the penalty loop for Jacques Ellard. Salmela over the line in 4th. And a roar from the Swede.
Yeah, he came flying back on the skis in the second half of that race. Salmela, second fastest course time, or 4th fastest course time, 13 seconds slower than Uldal. Nice recovery from him.
Yeah, with an extra 300 meters as well before that, and had to fight very hard. Where
Fabien
he
Claude
now sits is, yep, here comes Fabien Claude.
So Campbell right out of the corner of the screen as well. May show up in the breakout. He comes in shooting 2 in 4th place. There he is. Shooting very fast is Campbell Wright.
This is great from Campbell Wright.
Clean
and
again.
He's clean again. Would you believe it? We're back with Fabien Claude though, but as we see Campbell Wright flash through the picture, Fabien Claude is clean, but Campbell Wright, well, he's doing lots of things right at the moment, and he is 2.2 seconds down.
Campbell Wright now has to challenge Uldal, who flew around that last lap. Uldal at the finish, still leading by 11 seconds over Hartweg. Campbell Wright has Uldal by, let's see here, Campbell Wright has Uldal by 10 seconds, so he knows that Uldal's thrown down a great last lap. 8 and out of the finish.
Simoneda with 1 miss. And he'll go over the line in 10th. Such a big improvement from the performance in the sprint in Conti Ellard when he finished 90th.
Navras shooting. It's amazing what your familiarity with the course will do for you. But Navras is quite a bit off his ski time, 19 seconds back, so not a great start for him in the first loop. And in the meantime, up in the breakout, Fiumae misses 2 more shots.
Yeah, Fiumae misses 2, and Navras, well, he was quick on the trigger there, but hits all 5.
Gabriel Surum.
A name that we've heard a lot over the last fortnight.
Yeah, he was skiing really well in Conti Ellard. Not quite the ski time that we saw from him last week, but still in the mix at 7.6 seconds back as Bø, his teammate, comes in the breakout on the upper right.
Yep. Gabriel Surum, he goes clean, and now we can give our full attention to Johannes Tinges Bø.
Bø comes in with an 8.3 second lead.
Oh, there's a miss, and is that going to be costly for Johannes Tinges Bø, still hunting for his first win of the season.
Incredibly fast shooting by Bø. He kind of threw caution to the wind there, but he paid for it on that 4th shot. Just didn't quite have it on the target when the trigger was pulled.
Just
now,
how costly will that be on the Stromsheim?
Still waiting for Bø to leave the penalty loop after shooting 2. And he still leads by 14 seconds despite the miss.
This is good from Stromsheim. And he goes clean. Victorious in the short individual in Conti Ellard, so shooting clean on that occasion. There's still a Salmela glide. Coming in 12.4 seconds down. 4 for 4. He's clean as well. 10 out of 10 for Salmela glide.
Throw his hat into the ring for the win. It's tight amongst the leaders.
And eyes on, well, where Eric Perrault is as well. Here he, just on cue, comes into the range. Salmela glide, 7.1 seconds up. And he trails Eric Perrault in the overall standings by just 1 point. Fighting to take that yellow bib off his shoulders, and there's a first miss for Eric Perrault.
In those 9 seconds he gave up, you can see that he has to be perfect. Still, he's young, got some room to grow still, but he has to be perfect to be in it to win it.
Thierry Longa over the line in 6th. His first ever top 10 finish in the short individual in Consigliati.
Shooting of Lagred. Clean again. And Manzin now. Where is he in the order? Ooh, slow start, 24 seconds off the pace. That could be skis. Maybe the Ukrainian team not getting the skis quite right today.
Yeah, well, Franziska Ploys did say that in her interview after the women's sprint earlier on. She praised the work of the skis. Vitaly Manzin goes clean. We're back with Sebastian Samuelsson. Keep your eyes in the top corner of your screen. 4 out of 4. He can't hold his nerves though. Once round the penalty loop he goes.
Trailed Boo coming in by 9.6 seconds. And the last of the big names.
Talia Bo. Wearing bib 72. 14.8 seconds he trails. Still Samuelsson who leads at this point. Has a miss in the standing position.
Coming off his second best season of his long career, Talia Bo not quite skiing at the level that I think he may need to with all the challenges he's got from younger athletes on the IBU Cup and the fact that Uldal is doing so well. Talia Bo has to deliver here and keep delivering on the World Cup. 11th after first shooting.
36 athletes over the line. It is still Martin Uldal who leads his Salmela glide. Jacqueline in the red bib.
Jacqueline trailing after shooting number 1. Where he is there. Had a miss and is 17, 20 seconds back. Comes back just 2 seconds back, so he's made up about 19 seconds on the leaders. Still with a chance, but it's got to be fast, it's got to be perfect. Long time to the first shot. Staying in control, not letting it fly. Oh, and there's still a miss.
Two misses, 3 on the day.
Uncharacteristically slow shooting and with only 60% success rate. You can see the coach's face said it all. Here's Finello, who's clean prone. This guy is so fast on the skis. If he could just put together a standing stage, he could find himself on the podium.
Yeah, his ski stats from the early part of this season, incredibly impressive. 10 seconds down, coming into this final shoot. And it's It's 8 out of 10 as Fabien Claude now. He's clean from his first visit, and he's only 3.8 seconds down.
Got to make a perfect biathlon race here. He's got to just keep shooting and not think about the outcome. He's got a chance. He's going to be outside the time of Boo.
Yeah, Stella Holmlagerleid as well. I'm sure we'll go back to the course shortly. He is flying through 8K, 8.5K. Fabien Claude into third.
Campbell Wright came in the finish. Oh, here he is, Campbell Wright.
Yep, Campbell Wright pushing towards the line. It's another great performance. Will it be enough for another flower ceremony? Grits his teeth. It's third for now, shooting clean. Well, what a season this has been so far. Still very early stages, but Campbell Wright.
Yeah, he's the real deal.
Such a breakout star.
He's got all the he's got the full package. His personality is very devil-may-care. He can let things roll off his shoulders. And in biathlon, which it can be, there's two kinds of successful athletes in biathlon. Ones who does that Campbell Wright does, and the ones who really think and become almost kind of surgeons of the sport. Campbell Wright, a little bit more devil-may-care attitude, but he can let difficult times go. Navrath now is 9 for 9.
10 out of 10. The huge German contingent in the crowd, well, they love that. And here's Johannes Tingesbø into the finish straight. Will it be enough for his first win of the season? Pushing towards the line. 21.7 seconds in the lead. Will that be enough? Sturla Holmlagerleid is behind and is chasing hard. There's fractions between these two at 9.1 kilometers. Will that be Johannes Tingesbø's first win of the season? We'll have to wait and see if he's done enough.
This is the man who can do it right here. Number 50, he started a minute behind Boo, elapsed time. And I don't think he's got to be, it doesn't look good. It's close.
Yep.
It's just too far to go.
0.2 of a second in it at 9.1 kilometers. But that time has dropped. He hasn't been able to sustain the speed. You can see the clock ticking down. Surely it will be a first win of the season for Johannes Tingesbø. He has done it. Sturla Holmlagerleid, 4.2 seconds down, just couldn't maintain the pace in the end. And the question now, will we see a full Norwegian podium after in Kontiolahti they failed to have any Norwegian men on the podium for the first time in a sprint since 2022. As things stand, we have 3 Norwegian men topping the table.
There's Sørum. All kinds of missing going on for Sørum. Not his best day.
No, frustration evident on his face there. So
go ahead.
Yeah, the person who could upset the Norwegian party is Sebastian Samuelsson. Last time we saw him was at 9.1 kilometers. Here's the intermediate results, and as things stand, it is 3 Norwegians at the top. And well, regardless of whether it's a podium, whether it's a flower ceremony, what a performance from Martin Oldal.
Yeah, making his case for staying on the World Cup. Here's Perot now. He had a miss from the prone position, trailing by 33 seconds. At this point, just trying to stay relevant and in contention for a chance at the pursuit tomorrow with 4 shooting stages, his strength. Oh, almost missed there at 1 o'clock. Everything else pretty solid so far besides that second shot. Eric Perrault, very great mental processes when you watch him. He's not flashy. He's not terribly quick on the shooting on the skis. He's got beautiful technique, but he's still not quite at that level where he can play different games, where he can speed it up or slow it down or change his approach depending on the circumstances.
Well, here is Sebastian Samuelsson. And it will be second place or third place for Sebastian Samuelsson. Stella Humler-Glide still holding on to that second spot. Just looking further down the order as well. Fabian Claude going well through 8.6 kilometers. Here's Vitaly Manzin.
This will put Manzin back further than he was last weekend in Punjab, where he had an amazing start to the season. But Fabian Claude now on the last lap, and the last kind of real contender here is Tarjei Abu, but he's 18.5 seconds back coming in with perfect shooting. So really a big task in front of him.
Needs to hold his nerve here.
Almost jumped on that shot. You can see him flinch. That is the essence of shooting standing, and he misses it anyway.
Yeah, started with a miss and then really quick between the next three shots. And then that hesitancy at the end. And ending on a miss as well. So twice more around the penalty loop he goes.
So all eyes on the last two men on course with a chance at the podium. Fabian Claude is the best. He's sitting in 8.5 seconds back at the 9.1 kilometer mark. And then Navrath just went through this 8.6 in 5th place.
So pursuit tomorrow, 12:15, ladies, and 20 minutes past 2, the boys. No, yes, 40:45.
So keep your eyes on Fabian Claude.
14:45, die
Verstappen Christiansen.
Vetle Sejestad Christiansen.
Three misses on the day after taking victory in Kontiolahti. Do well to hold on to that top 10.
I think he's going to give that bib to Sebastian Samuelsson at day's end. That red bib of the sprint leader.
And here is Fabian Claude. How will he upset the podium? In third, Sebastian Samuelsson drops down to 4th. Fabian Claude over the line. 6.8 seconds down on Johannes Tinger's boat. And well, just looking back, there's not really anyone now who can challenge that.
Claude never won a race, has never won a World Cup. He's had a second and 2/3, so this would match his second best performance. Here's Vebjørn Sørum. He had those 2 misses from the standing position. But look at his time, 19 seconds back. He's coming back on the skis. Thought he looked a little slow in the first loop, but now Sørum opening up the floodgates on his skiing. Can he get back in to the picture by the finish line? Sørum was 19.2 back at 9.1K. Not going to be enough to get him on the podium, but he might get past Samuelsson for 4th. And he's tight with this man.
Yeah, there's not much between those two at all. And Navrath surely will push Sebastian Samuelsson further down the order. Well, he can't quite get there. 6th in the end for Philip Navrath.
3/10 ahead of Uldal. Very tight between Samuelsson, Uldal, Navrath.
There's nothing between them, is there, at all?
No. There are three athletes within 9/10 of a second.
So watching Vebjørn Sørum now. 2 misses. Performing really well on the skis once again. Time of Johannes Tinger's bow ticks past.
Sørum is going to join that scrum of guys within 9/10 of a second, I think.
20 or so meters to go for Bjørlund Sørum.
He gets Samuelson.
He does indeed. 4th for Bjørlund Sørum. Just inside 20 seconds down on his compatriot Johannes Tinger's bow. Still on time now.
Sørum 1.2 seconds ahead of Samuelson. Samuelson 0.8 of a second ahead of, or 0.6 of a second ahead of Uldal. And Uldal 0.3 of a second ahead of Navrat. That's 4th through 7th.
It is so tight. It is a thrilling end to this men's 10-kilometer sprint. And
Stromsheim's going to throw his hat in the ring.
could be on the podium here. It could be back to a Norwegian clean sweep on the podium.
No, just
and it's
barely.
4th, fractionally outside. A huge sigh of relief from Fabien Claude.
0.6 of a second behind Claude is Stromsheim.
Unbelievable.
So fractions of seconds all the way down the board.
It has been so tight.
8 athletes in 22 seconds within a penalty loop of the lead. Wow. Great stuff.
Well, it's exactly what you love to see, and brilliant entertainment, of course, as well for the fans that pack out the stands here at Hochfilzen. Johannes Tinger's bow with victory despite 1 miss over Stola Holmler Glide, shooting clean, but 4.2 seconds behind his teammate, and Fabien Claude disrupting the Norwegian party.
It's been a while since we've seen this packed of a top 10. It's Campbell Wright sitting in 10th, 41 seconds back. He's 11 seconds out of 9th with Hartwig. Still a Norwegian powerhouse at the first 5. 1 Frenchman between the 4 top Norwegians.
And Eric Perrault, who comes into the finish line, will not be wearing the yellow bib tomorrow. Over the line in 13th. 1 miss. Unable really to pick up the momentum that he'd need after that shake of the head.
I feel good for. I felt that was what Perrault could do. I mean, he had a pretty successful and exciting opening in Kontiolahti, but to expect him to hang on to that yellow bib with 1 point on a day like today, a course like this, he just doesn't have the power and the speed to really contend seriously. And his brighter days are still ahead of him.
Looking out for Talia Bow. 22nd through the 9.1 kilometer mark. 67.5 seconds behind his younger brother. Vitali Manzin. 1 miss on the day. It'll be close on whether he can hang on to the blue bib as well. Plenty of under 23 names going past him in the order there.
Yeah, my hunch is that bib's going to possibly go to someone else. And I think if Perrault still eligible for that.
Well, it has dropped down from was previously, of course, under 25 competition. Now under 23.
So he may hang on to it. Campbell Wright might be.
Well, Campbell Wright has, really given himself a good shout, and consistent performances again from Campbell Wright as Talia Bow into the home straight and outside of the top 20, 23rd for now. Losing a fair bit of time on that final lap.
So Johannes Tingesbø gets the win unofficially so far, but he doesn't do it as convincingly as we've seen him in the past. He is actually outskied by Emilien Jacquelin on the course time, but he shot better, hit 9 for 10, and ends up on top, and he's within 9 now of Olander Bjørndal.
That was one of our key points as we looked at the stats last week in Kontiolahti. When will he dip within 10? And today is the day he's done it. Failing to stand atop the podium last week in Kontiolahti. It was the first race for the men in Hochfilzen. Johannes Tingesbø claimed his first win of the season.
But a lot more parity at the top of the World Cup, and it makes it more exciting. It used to be, Johannes Tingesbø would come in and you just expect him to win, and it's not that world anymore. He's got some competition, at least as long as he's in the shape he's in. And we don't know what he's doing as his trajectory. He really knows his training, how to train himself at the right times of the year, and he may show up at the World Championships another grade faster than he is right now. For now it's exciting biathlon with Johannes Tingesbø not dominating.
Haidensalo of Finland slotting into 37th.
Haidensalo, a long time kind of the leader of the Finnish team in years, been there for part of a decade. Slots right ahead of his teammate Tuomas Harjula, who we saw at the last time check, and Harjula will now try to move into the top 30. That'd be a great performance for him.
Of course, would more than confirm him as one of the athletes for the pursuit tomorrow, the top 60 competing in tomorrow's pursuit race.
Harjula comes across the line into 41st, a minute 53 back, and he's solidly in that pursuit start for tomorrow.
Yeah, we still have 33 athletes around, still out on the course. Simon Adamov.
Adamov outside the top 60, not currently in a spot to get into that mass start, but he's got a lot of race left to go. Just on lap 1.
Masinzarol as well. Coming up to the 5.7 kilometre mark. Clean through his first visit to the range. Reminder, a huge 112 athletes. So all wearing bib 102. Dorev of Bulgaria shooting clean over the line in 20th. Not a bad performance at all from the 23-year-old. He can hold on to that. Be on for a personal best.
Vadim Corrales coming in. You saw Canadian Halden Borglund next to him on the shooting range. That's where Canadian friends are finishing here.
Skistand 18.
Number 96.
Kazakhstan.
Logan Pletz leaves shooting number 2 in 50th spot. Would be a nice performance for him. His personal best 64th. So right now, Pletz having the best for Canada. Personal best sprint.
Vadim Corrales, clean, 2 out of 10. 2 misses for Adamov.
Und weil heute Giuseppe Cianeschi Geburtstag hat, unser Kameramann vom FNV-Team.
Final time to the range for Masinzarol.
Could be in the pursuit tomorrow if he goes clean here. He's got a top 40 going past him, but that's probably going to dash his hopes for the pursuit start. Right now at the finish in that 60th spot is Otto Invinius of Finland.
The kind of distance time-wise that we're looking back from Johannes Singersbo to 60th spot, and as you said, Chad, Otto Invinius, who had 3 misses, is 2 minutes 26.5.
Yeah, 2 minutes 26 is actually, it's pretty similar for the men. About 2.5 minutes is what I usually expect to see for a men's competition. Watching for Jake Brown, bib 87 for the United States, see if he can get into that top 6. He's in 70th, the 9.1 corner mark. So Brown with 3 misses, not in the cards. But Sean Doherty sitting in 48th, Maxime Germain in 55th for the United States. They're both right now at least into that top 60 of the pursuit. Jake Brown coming across the line 65th, so he will sit out tomorrow's for competition, get ready for the relay on Sunday.
Just dropping time on that final lap. Jake Brown. Janusa. Switzerland for now, just inside the top 60.
3 Canadians in the start order today. 1 of them at the finish so far, still 2 on the course. David Gilfillan currently sitting in 86th position.
Vadim Corrales embarking on his final lap after shooting clean.
Dombrowski, yep. Lithuania coming in, going to be outside the top 60. He'll end the day in 77th. Watching for Logan Pletz, trying to get into the pursuit for Canada. Pletz's best is 64th, so if he got into the top 60, that would be his first ever World Cup pursuit. Pletz from Regina, Saskatchewan, or born in Saskatchewan, lives in Canmore now. 24 years of age. He was 26th start of his career. It'd be nice for him to put a feather in his cap and remember his first pursuit. If he can get to the line in the top 60, he's on his way to the finish now.
Yeah, needs to maintain his pace. He currently is about 54th at the last checkpoint, dropping down to 55th, 2 minutes and 4 behind. So he needs to make sure that he can keep that pace rolling. And really, you'd say, barring any disaster and then anyone coming in too much ahead of him,
he's got a hold 13 seconds.
Yeah, he's on for a good time and a personal best performance here. As we look back at Johannes Tingersboel's race.
Found a way to do it again. Johannes Tingersboel shows why he is perhaps the king of biathlon, chasing at least the second king of biathlon, the first king of biathlon, Ellard Bjørndalen. 95 victories over 21 seasons. Johannes Tingersboel, 85 over just 8 seasons. Now, 86 in his 9th season on the World Cup. Winner today, and inching closer to that all-time winning mark.
Well, Chad, obviously a huge victory for him today in terms of, well, not just getting that 68th sprint victory and, of course, 86th, as you've mentioned, but also the fact that there was plenty of eyes asking and eyes on him thinking, when will he get that first win of the season, as here is Logan Pletz, who've been keeping an eye out for.
It might not be for a podium or for a win, but it would be for a first ever appearance in a pursuit competition, trying to take on the time of Maxime Germain. He's going to fall outside that time, but he gets into the 56th spot. Congratulations to Logan. He'll be in the pursuit tomorrow, at least for now.
Yep, 16 athletes still yet to cross the line. But looking back, no one really challenging the top 60 at the moment.
Just number 100, Corrales, might get in the top 60. He pushed Pletz down 1. He's heading towards the finish. He's been through 9.1 kilometer in 57th, so.
Yeah, shooting clean as well.
Dusanov won't get into the top 60. He's outside that now. He's in 60, fighting for 64. He'll be somewhere around 70th, but so Logan Pletz trying to hang on. He's 1 spot behind Maxime Germain of the United States. Sean Doherty, 48th. Looks like he'll stay there for the rest of the day. And Campbell Wright, another top 10.
Well, there's a lot to like about what Campbell Wright is doing, shooting clean again. And Chad, when you spoke to him last week, I think the overriding thing from him was that he wanted consistency. And we're starting to see some really good early signs in terms of that for Campbell Wright.
Yeah, he says he starts every year unjustifiably hopeful and then doesn't deliver. But the other thing that he said besides the consistency was that he needed to be healthy. He came into last season and he tried the whole season to try to get into shape. He finally saw that form late in the season. but clearly showing that he has emerged to the top of the sport in the world. The New Zealand native, born in New Zealand to American parents, and moves to Team USA 2 seasons ago, is now a bit of a splash for American biathlon fans and fans all over the world.
Well, here is Corrales. It's going to be very close for that top 60.
Oh.
61, painfully outside of it. Shooting clean, just didn't have the ski speed on the final lap. And so he won't be competing in the pursuit tomorrow at the finest of margins.
Borglum, der Kanadier als 87. im Ziel. Simon Adamov, der Slowake, ist der Nächste, der sich dem Ziel nähert. Startnummer 101
Final
von
12 athletes
112 gestartet.
Making their way through the last 1 kilometre, mostly now. Still have a couple as far back as 7.5 kilometres, all through shooting 2 now, and now all through 7.5.
Yeah, shooting range is closed. Everybody's on the last loop in this 112 start order. Edgar Mise just racing for pride now, outside the top 60s, 93rd at the final time check before the finish.
Chad, before we saw Logan Peltz cross the line, my question to you is going to be, will this win for Johannes Dingesbo, and now he's got over the mentality of that first win of the season, do you think it will now be the case that he is the regular presence, not just on the podium, but atop of it for the rest of the season?
You know, I think I have to be inside his camp to know where he is, because I feel like perhaps he is not in his very best ski form by choice. He may be keeping the training load high. So when these athletes are racing so much, they dip into their anaerobic power systems, particularly later in the race, and that sort of develops. You have anabolic reactions to those stress levels that makes them better athletes. And in a long season, if you play that game too many times, you eat up your base, your aerobic fitness, and it starts to get hard to replicate that performance. And when you have a championship event coming, you don't want to go too far in that direction. So it's all a question of what Johannes Dingesbo's plan is. Is he trying to stay relatively fit, keep the training load high, and just take what he gets in these World Cups? That's where my hunch says he is. But he might not be. He might be trying his hardest right now, and then if that's the case, I think it's going to get more interesting. It's going to be a more interesting season if that is the case.
I assume as the winner of the race, it won't be long before we hear from him at the conclusion of this competition. Could there be a certain air that if it is the case that they're trying out some things with the focus of the World Championships on mind, keeping that training load high, would the fact that we're edging closer to a year away from the Olympics, would that affect it as well, in that he might be trying to do something now that he might want to replicate next year?
Yeah, I mean, he could be trying for a bigger training load here. That's another thing. It's like, what trajectory you create for overall structure. And that's certainly something to consider, because as you get older too, generally known that you may not need to train as many hours as you have to develop into a world-class athlete. So, Johannes Dingesbo is probably one of the best. He's in the top 1% of elite athletes in knowing where his fitness is, because he has been so dominant. And but we also might be seeing just a more beatable Johannes Dingesbo than we have in years past, as far as the ski speed goes. But I'll believe that when the season's over.
We will assess the situation tomorrow. Of course, will be back for both the men's and women's pursuits.
But there's no doubt he's giving it all when he's racing it. You watched him last weekend; he was tired at the finish line. But again, we don't know what that means. But one thing's for certain: he is a specimen, and he is a talent, and he's certainly in the top 3 of all time. And I think people will argue for years who is the best: Johannes Bö, Martin Fourcade, or Bjørn Dahlin. Just to put it into perspective, overall titles, Fourcade has 7, Bjørn Dahlin has 6, Johannes Bö has 5. He's trying to beat his countryman for 2nd this season to win his 6th overall World Cup title. But in terms of Olympic Games medals, Bjørn Dahlin is untouchable at this point. 14 medals at the Olympic Winter Games, 8 gold medals. He's got 3 more than Fourcade and Johannes Bö. Bö could do that in 2 years' time, in 2026. Could match his 8 golds, but there are categories that it doesn't appear to me like Bjørn Dahlin will be eclipsed anytime soon. And I think the gold medals, the 8 gold medals, is probably the tough one.
And that is why that argument, debate, whatever you want to call it, will rage on long after, well, both of the Bö brothers decide to hang up their skis. Just because it is, in terms of the stats, you know, it is so tight in so many places between him and Bjørn Dahlin, but when you look at the time frame that Johannes Bö has done it in, it is quite spectacular, the achievements that he's done so far.
It's incredible. He's done, in 8 seasons, he's won the one place where he's superior already. 20 World Championship titles. 19 for Bjørn Dahlin in 21 season, 20 for JT Bö in 8. That's just the victory rate at the World Championships. He has dominated the World Championships like no other athlete in history.
Stolder. Two misses in standing.
3 more athletes to finish. This is the Estonian.
Yep, it is bib 112. It's over the line in 97.
Hochfilzen von Maren Hammerschmidt, wo wir schon heute erwähnt haben, die jetzt also zuständig ist für...
So with 2 misses in standing.
I believe this is our final competitor. Magazeev did not start, so this is our final competitor on the course.
And you would be right, Chad. Postulos Angelis over the line. I wonder how long they had that song lined up to play over the PA. Right, Johannes Bö with his first victory of the year. 1 miss in standing. Stella Holmberg-Glide continuing his good form. 4.2 seconds of his compatriot and Fabien Claude, preventing a all-Norwegian podium, the Frenchman taking 3rd. We'll have, of course, a change of the yellow bib. And a change of the blue bib as well. Campbell Wright, the USA, has shown some incredible consistency. Top the under-23 standings. And the top 60 going through to the pursuit tomorrow. Simon Eder finishing in the end in 35th, but a huge step up from the performance in Kontiolahti.
Should see our men's World Cup total score pop up after these results. Johannes Tingesbø will take the yellow bib from Eric Perot. We know that much. Perot will drop to third.
Die Rekruten Bayer und Rohrmoser sind zum Beispiel hier vor Ort vom Jäger, von der Jägerkompanie in Salmela, dem ganzen Team natürlich auch mal ein großes Dankeschön und auch die Rekruten Linzer und Ordner. Boys, danke.
And here we go, Johannes Tingesbø will pull on the yellow bib. 10 points between him and Ståle Holmlund. Perot dropping down to third. Campbell Wright taking the blue bib from Vitaly Manzim.
Please, one. Thanks. Thank you very much.
They're very happy, Johannes Tingesbø.
Johannes, congratulations, back on top. How satisfied today you are?
Very satisfied. You know, being here in Hochfilzen and to get the victory in the sprint is just a great feeling. I feel my rivals now are just harder and harder to beat. So the victories now, they just taste even better.
But actually there is something special about Hochfilzen because your last season, first win was here. It's your 10th individual win here in Hochfilzen. So is it some kind of a switching when you're coming to this venue?
Yeah, I think so. I saw yesterday, a memory came up on my Facebook. 10 years ago in Hochfilzen. Was another sprint win in front of Simon Schemp. So yeah, sprint in Hochfilzen fits me really well, and I think it's always second week in the World Cup. I need the first week to really get started, and yeah, to win, it's just a great feeling. It was really close in the top 4 today.
Good luck tomorrow and enjoy.
Thank you.
Well, interesting what he was saying there, Chad. Sometimes it just takes him a little bit longer to get started.
Yeah, it's kind of what I think we talked about before at Kunstler. We were kind of wondering whether he would show up in the fitness that we expected of him. As you see the overall sprint score, Johansson is moving the lead of that, takes the 140-point lead or 20-point lead over Sebastian Samuelsson. Campbell Wright's in 8th there, but you know, he's answering the questions for us. That he came in a little bit flat. He didn't look great in the openers institution, or in Biathlon, excuse me, and slowly is finding his form. But he's acknowledging the fact that it is getting harder and harder to win.
It was dans le one.
So for the first time in the 24-25 IBU World Cup season, it is Johannes Tingersbo who leads out the flower ceremony.
Official prize giving competition, Sprint Man Tirol Hochfilzen 2024. In third place, auf Platz Nummer 3, für Frankreich, representing France, Mr. Fabien Claude.
Well, Fabien Claude with his third place finish here in the sprint competition. On the podium in the 2021 season here in Hochfilzen and replicating it today.
Executive board member IBU, Tim Franchnik, and the vice president.
Like Johannes Tingersbo said, some venues serve certain athletes better, and you have some success at some venues. It's probably not a coincidence that 2 of this man's 4 podiums are at this venue. It probably suits the skiing style very well.
Place, representing Norway, für Norwegen, Sturla Holm Lagreit.
Sturla Holm Lagreit taking second place. A consistent start to the season for him. Second in the overall standings as well. That gap to the leader now opened. It's just 1 point today. He hasn't done enough to opportunity to pull on the yellow bib. Will be the man next to him, his compatriot Johannes Tingersbo.
And first again, winner Hochfilzen Sprint 2024. Für Norwegen, for Norway, Johannes Tingersbo.
First again here in Hochfilzen. He loves this event and he loves this venue. His first win of the BMW IBU World Cup season. Johannes Tingersbo. Now 9 victories away from the individual victory record held by Ole Einar Bjorndalen.
The shots, the big picture, the one and only picture, the top 3, Johannes Tingersbo, Sturla Holm Lagreit, Fabien Claude, auf Rang Nummer 4, in 4th place, representing Norway für Norwegen, Ellard.
Van der Stromsheim to find his way onto the podium again, shooting clean. Has to settle for fourth for Björlum Sörlum. Finishing fifth. And flower ceremony for Sebastian Samuelsson. Incredibly fast around the course, but one miss. Setting him back.
Von Erik Perrault hinüber wieder zu Johannes Didier. He is once again wearing the yellow jersey for the overall World Cup leader in the season 2024-2025.
And the yellow bib pulled on by Johannes Dingesbø, the new total score leader. He begins his Crystal Globe defence.
How does it feel to have your second skin on you?
Well, as Johannes Dingesbø addresses the crowd, an opportunity to remind you that we will be back tomorrow from 12:30 Central European time for the women's pursuit, and then once again, not much time between the two races at all. We'll be back at 2:45 for the men's 12.5 kilometre pursuit.